What's up guys, it's DoubleWinning, and today I'm going to be starting a new series, and it's how to get out of ELO Hell. In this game here, we've just got a ranked, it's a gold rated Graves gameplay. Not really going to be talking about the gameplay all that much, just using this as a background for this series. So with that in mind, this first episode is going to be about fine-tuning your mechanical ability, which I think is kind of fitting since this is a AD carry gameplay. The reason I'm starting with fine-tuning mechanical ability is because when a lot of people ask, I see this a lot when people ask, how do I get out of ELO Hell, or whatever they describe as ELO Hell, or gain ELO or whatever, they tell them, you know, don't rage at your teammates, don't die in your lane, you know, really basic advice. And what I think is kind of more important is kind of like, you know, don't rage at your teammate and don't die in lane, which don't die in lane can also have to do with your mechanical ability, but not raging at your teammates is really easy, in my opinion, because if you just don't chat with them, then you can't rage at them. I guess you could like back ping a bunch or something like that, but that doesn't matter. So we're going to start with just something that you can work on by just yourself, and that's last hitting. The reason I'm starting with last hitting for your mechanical abilities is because you can go into a bot game. You can set up a 1v1 against Sivir down bot and run a really simple challenge. And the challenge is, you go down bot lane with whatever character, and you make sure Sivir at all times has less than half health, half of her HP bar. You don't take the tower. You don't kill Sivir, no matter what, don't kill Sivir. And you try and get perfect CS. Perfect CS is, I think, 100. It's around 100 at 10 minutes, but you can shoot for around 80 to 85. Once you can consistently do that, while juggling the fact that you're always keeping Sivir at half health, which, trust me, is not hard in a bot game. That's why we're starting in the bot game. Then you'll notice that you'll start to notice a few things, and that's one, that you have to be prepared. You have to, kind of like in chess, how you have to think. If you just play move by move by move, they'll work you. They'll play you like a puppet. So if you look at these creeps and see how your creeps are positioning and seeing that two of them are dying quickly, you need to do something, or else you're going to miss one of them. So maybe you auto attack earlier so that they're staggered, so that you can get all the creep score. And you just find out these things when you're practicing getting these perfect CS scores. Like when you see people like DoubleLift, you know, Chaox, 80 carries are the people I'm quoting mostly, but also like Froggen, Alex Ish, you know, these people who just have these ridiculous creep scores, it's because they practice it. They've practiced it so much that they don't need to just do it in bot games anymore. But if you were able to just copy whatever DoubleLift Chaox did and become their skill level, then you wouldn't be watching this video. So the reason I'm giving you this advice is because I've been where you are. I've been, you know, 1,000 ELO, and I've sucked at CSing. I used to think 100 CS at 20 minutes was good. It's not. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not. In most situations, I mean, I'm trying to think of, even if you're like completely shutting down your opponent, 100 CS, you're going to be behind everyone else in the game. So you should probably focus a bit more on CSing, even if it means letting your opponent get a few CS. So that's a pretty simple one. Last hitting, and then once you've got that down, what you can actually do is, if you have a partner and you can take turns doing this, you can do the Caitlyn Mid challenge, which I actually saw Phantom Lord do. I think it was Phantom Lord. I'm not 100% positive. In a coaching lesson, basically, your coach plays Caitlyn, sets up 3 traps in the middle of the lane, and you're trying to keep your creeps in the middle of the lane as much as possible. Keep Caitlyn below half health while getting a perfect CS. If you don't have Caitlyn under half health, then she can hit you. If you die, you lose. If you step on a trap, you lose. And if you don't have 80 CS by 10 minutes, you lose. And you just practice this, and this is more of a more realistic scenario. But if you can't even get close to that, that's why you start with the bot game. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. Second mechanical ability, it's a little less hand-eye coordination or whatever, mechanical as in like typing, and more combining your mental with your actual typing and such. And that's calculating your trades and harass. Knowing skill sets and how much someone can harass you with is really, really essential. So knowing that, let's say Vayne, when she, you know, autos you 3 times, that she's going to have that burst of true damage. Or, I guess, okay, so a better example would be, if Graves comes in, throws his Q at you, throws his smoke screen at you, he's put his burst down. And he's going to get a little more tanky because of his passive. But if he goes in, misses a Q or misses a W, that's 1 skill down that he is. So you know that his damage is significantly taken away. And earlier game, you also know that he's maxing his Q. So, I mean, in most cases, I can't really think of many cases where a Graves wouldn't max their Q. So if he misses the Q, then you can go all in on him at that point, because you have 1 skill over him, and with a lot of AD carries, that's going to make a huge difference. It's like Sivir. That's why I like playing Sivir so much against Graves and Caitlyn lanes. Caitlyn because you can eat the cupcakes, everybody loves that, and Graves because if you can eat his buckshot with your spell shield, you now have 2 damaging skills with your Q and your W, and he only has, and it's your W is an auto attack reset, which kind of makes up for the fact that you don't have a attack speed steroid early on, and then he only has his smoke screen left and his dash. And then if you hit him, you're going to gain movement speed, so his dash doesn't mean all that much. So it's just things like that. It's once you can learn to calculate your trades, and you can know how much damage you're going to do, you're going to improve your laning a lot. And this kind of ties into the next point, and that's how you don't die 1v1, and that's just knowing your opponent's skill sets and knowing their full combo, and just respecting your opponent. Chowster actually said, the question you should ask yourself, would you beat yourself playing that matchup? Just ask yourself that and be humble. And if you can't, why play it? You should respect your opponent as much as you respect yourself. And so a lot of respecting your opponent kind of comes with in-game knowledge. An example I like to give is knowing if they go all in on you, if you'll die. Someone that, okay, maybe you don't lane against a whole lot would be Master Yi. But his is kind of simple. So knowing off the top of your head, level 5, he's going to have 3 points in his Alpha Strike. He's going to have probably a point in Meditate, probably a point in Wuju Style, and he's not going to have his ultimate yet. Let's say he has Flash Ignite. So he's going to have 200 damage from Alpha Strike. He's going to have attack damage of around probably 70, and then maybe he has an item, so like 80. And then he's going to have Wuju Style, which is going to give him another 15, and then when he doubles it, it's going to be 30 total, so about 110. So he's going to Alpha Strike you, do 200 damage. He's going to auto you, do about 100 damage. So that's a 300 damage combo. But that would be underestimating him there, because you know he's going to get in at least another auto, so that's 400 damage. You know if he's going all in, he probably has Ignite, so that's going to be another 150 damage, so that's 550 damage so far. He might have Double Strike, which is 650 damage. He has Flash, so he's going to get a guaranteed auto attack on you, so that's about 750 damage on you. And then, you know, if there's anything else, then he's probably going to get that on you as well. So you can roughly assume that this Master Yi, if he goes all in on you, is going to have 750 damage of kind of delayed burst. And so once you kind of realize that in lane, you start to play differently. You don't sit around with half health all the time, you know? If you're at half health and you've used your pot, your flask, whatever, and you know that you have no regen left, then that's when you can start to realize that they can kill you at any time. So what you do is you push your lane, and you go back and come to lane with more, you know, a refilled flask or more health pots. And you'll die less. I mean, and that's how you prevent yourself from dying 1v1. Or things like knowing if they have their Ignite up, which a little tip, I know probably everyone knows this by now, but anyone who has Ignite is probably going to take the Ignite Mastery. So look, if they're an AD person, do they have 5 AP? If they're an AP person, do they have a Strange plus 5 AD? This is even easier to notice because the flat AD is no longer a starting trait. I know it was something that people could do to trick is if they had 2 AD and then 3 AD from the old Season 2 Masteries on their APs, then they would have plus 5. So it would look like their Ignite was on cooldown. It was a cheesy trick, but I've seen people do it. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, as much at least. And so, just realizing, that Ignite is a ton of damage. And so, knowing if it's up or not, or knowing if the support's exhaust is up, or whether your support's exhaust is up, and that's kind of communication there, but just knowing those things can really help you not die 1v1 or 2v2. And that's really the main thing I wanted to cover on the mechanics of 1v1. The last thing I want to cover is mana costs. Knowing your mana costs, knowing the enemy's mana costs, if you go all in at any time, are they going to be able to full combo you, or are you going to be able to full combo them? It's pretty simple, you just learn mana costs of everyone. I know it seems not that simple, but you really just need to learn it for the matchups you're going to be playing, and then if you don't know the matchup, look up their wiki before the match. If you guys enjoyed this episode, I'm going to be continuing this. I'm actually going to cut the video here, and then I'm going to finish the gameplay here in the second episode of How to Get Out of ELO Hell. So if you guys like this video, be sure to hit a like rating. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, so leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys about that. And as always, stay classy and keep winning. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, be sure to go to facebook.com/DoubleWinning and like my Facebook page there. When we hit 500 likes, I'm going to be doing an RP giveaway. And while you're at it, be sure to follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/DoubleWinning. And while you guys are also at it, be sure to check out the other videos I have on my channel, as well as subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 1,500 subscribers, guys.